Hello, and welcome to Beyond Common Business Secrets. This is a podcast where we unlock all the secrets of achieving beyond common success in both your life and business. I'm your host, Tracey Watts Cirino, an international bestselling author, certified business success coach, and award-winning podcast host. In today's episode, we're going to be diving into the art of messaging, how to stay true to yourself. Stay tuned as we explore how mastering your message can transform the results you're getting in your business and lead you to unparalleled success, meaning no competition. It's you're creating it all and doing it all just for you. So buckle up for this fun ride. And we are going to be really digging into mastering your messaging, the art of messaging, so that you can stay true to yourself. And oftentimes I get asked the question of like, what is messaging? Like, what does it have to do with my business? And the thing I'd like to say is that effective messaging is the cornerstone of successful communication. Whether you're writing a book, crafting a social media post, delivering a presentation, or just effectively communicating to members of your team, to truly master your messaging, you need to tap into your authentic voice. Now, mastering your messaging is critical. It's crucial for all business owners, entrepreneurs, and professionals in the business world at large. But the thing that makes it more important than ever is that with so many mediums and ways of communicating, our messaging is actually getting more diluted, and more people are just regurgitating a bunch of junk they heard someone else say. So this podcast is not about that. We are about authenticity and really standing out and tapping into who you truly are so that you can go further faster. So that is what we are diving into today. So the very first thing that I want to do in like the first segment of the podcast today is really talk about defining and clarifying your message, like making sure that you are really clear on what you want to say. So why communication and crystal clear communication is more essential than ever is because people are moving at a more rapid pace. They're actually doing 12 to 15 different things while they're maybe getting your ad or your social media post in front of them for the first time. Like if you have people on your weekly email list that you market to all the time and you just provide value, they could be reading your email and doing 12 other things. So you need to make sure things are crystal clear, or they might have read it, but they're not hearing you. So this is why it's more crucial than ever to be crystal clear. And what I thought would be fun is to kind of look at some businesses out in the world that are doing really well. And then I would love for you to follow up with us and share. You can share it in the comments here where you're tuning into the podcast. If you are watching on YouTube, you can post it there. If you catch a snippet of the podcast and you are, in our Facebook group, wherever you are, or you can just email them in. We think this will be so fun, but we're going to give you some examples of effective and ineffective messaging, like from big brands. But we would love to hear from you. Like, where do you see this amazing transformation of someone that maybe a big company that used to suck at messaging, but now it's great? or somebody that you are just in awe with that you think has great messaging. And even the funny ones where it's like really bad, share those with us too, because this is an ongoing conversation. The fact that communication and communicating with clarity is more prevalent than ever, this shows no signs of slowing down, right? The clearer that we can communicate. My dear friend and mentor, Jack Canfield, always uses the example when he's teaching of the difference between saying, Johnny bit the dog or the dog bit Johnny. These are two very different messages, same words, different sequencing. So sometimes there are little tweaks that can make us really switch things up. So when someone says the dog bit Johnny, you're going to be like, oh, is he okay? Is he bleeding? And then if you're like, Johnny bit the dog, like, oh, does he have a mouthful of fur? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, they're either way, same words, totally different action steps being taken. So we want to make sure our messaging is crystal clear. That is why this is so important. So let's dive into some examples of really effective messaging. So Zapier has where they just say, we connect your apps and automate workflows. So they have a simple way of talking about easy automation for busy people. Zapier moves info between your web apps automatically so you can focus on your most important work. Like, it's crystal clear. You understand that it's technology. You understand that it's, something that you set up behind the scenes. Even if you are not somebody that's very techy, it's super clear that it connects your technology. Like, it's, connect your apps and automate your workflows. So they've done a really great job of simplifying something that is very complicated. And this is why it makes it to our list of really effective marketing. So Zapier. Then number 2 on this list is Dollar Shave Club. So Dollar Shave Club is a company that delivers razors and other personal grooming products to customers by mail. People receive these on a monthly basis. So it's like a membership. And as you can imagine, the company sits within a very extremely saturated and well-established market, right? Because when they first came out, they were competing with big box retailers such as CVS, Walmart, Target. And in the case, what they did that was really different, and it's still going strong and growing for them, what they did to get ahead, in a real way to get ahead and differentiate themselves, their logo just simply reads Dollar Shave Club, shave the time, shave money. So it's really clear that it's $1, right? It cannot be any clearer. So this allowed them to completely bust through the competition. Now, I don't personally have a membership to them, but I would think that once you become a member, they probably have tiers. Like, you can upgrade and do things that are more than $1, but for people looking for a cost-effective way that things are delivered directly to them, this is very clear messaging. It's very clear. So how many of you have heard about Dollar Shave Club, right? If you have, comment, how many of your customers, the thing is the marketing messaging, is their customer service matching up with it? Let us know. Share this information with us. So then the third one I wanted to cover in this, where we're talking about really effective messaging, is bounty, right? When I say bounty, do you automatically say the quicker picker upper, right? Because it's very clear. We know, right? We know that because those commercials have been drilled into us. So we know that bounty is the quicker picker upper. That messaging is so clear. And it's a simple household product that many people use on a daily basis. So it couldn't be more clear. So let us know of effective messaging that you love out in the world. Share it with us. Share on Facebook, share in the comments here on the podcast. This just gets really fun. So now I'm going to share some funny, like bad messaging. And this just continues to boggle my mind. So one of the worst messaging for me is the Fifth Third Bank. Fifth Third Bank Corp. Like, what does that even mean? I don't understand. Now, I did some digging because this is just something that personally always, like, I just didn't get it. Like, what is the point of that name? It's not, it just makes you go, what are you doing? Fifth Third? Who wants to be the fifth or the third of anything? I don't get that. So I did some digging, and here's what I found out that so it's not, it makes no sense. Like many people, when I did some digging on this brand, nobody really understands why this is their company name. It's kind of like a joke and people think they're kidding. It doesn't make sense. But here's what happened. In 1908, the Third National Bank and the Fifth National Bank of Cincinnati merged. And they decided to just merge their names. I guess like they couldn't come up with the name. So they just merged these two names. I mean, to me, this is like the dumbest marketing, but just my opinion on that one. So to me, that's bad messaging. So when 1908, when the Third National Bank and Fifth National Bank decided to merge, they maybe could have came up with a name that would make sense about what their core message is for their customers. Just my 2 cents there. So then some other bad messaging, and this one strikes a chord with me. The telecommunication companies. I just think that they are the worst. They are just the worst. And they're supposed to be in communication, like literally they're telecommunications. So to me, Spectrum is the worst, and not even just their messaging outwardly, but like when you have to deal with them for customer service, the messaging they give you makes no sense. Their system, like nobody knows if it's coming or going. Like I remember I had a business cell phone, and it was attached to the first location that we ever had in that particular business. Nobody can remember what that zip code is. It makes no sense. So when you are looking at the messaging that they're putting out into the world, it's not in alignment with what they actually do and how they serve you in any way, shape, or form. Now, I hear Comcast and all the other ones are no better, but really pay attention to the messaging and maybe share some of your funny insights, because this one is crazy. Now, this one happened this year. So my third in the area of people not doing a good job, this is specific messaging for what's going on right now. So this happened at the beginning of February 2024. So Kellogg, they got accused of being tone deaf in their marketing, because with all the rising inflation and all the things that were happening for families, they were posing this thing about squawking like cereal for dinner as some type of solution for rising food costs. However, it makes no sense, because the costs of their cereals are going up significantly. So it doesn't even fit. So it just landed so lacking in care for your customer at any kind. So when they had Tony the Tiger saying cereal for dinner, like it doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. They had him doing that back in 2022, but doing that now in 2024, when things were, really not really acting as if they're really listening to their consumer. Now, aside from my personal beliefs on all the additives and all of the inflammatory products and chemicals that are used, that's just, my opinion on this, that this does not fit when it comes to being used as a messaging for marketing. So it's kind of just like, know the people that you're marketing to, because this did not feel like you were in alignment with what your customer needs are. This got like people like full on boycotting Kellogg and in really speaking out harshly. I think the negative boycotting started in like the beginning of April. So the thing is that I don't even know how they're gonna really resolve all that. But the thing is that just an example of really bad messaging. So that I want to give you three extremes where it was like, okay, this is really good and this is really bad. Like, so that you, when you look at it through the lens of your business or businesses that you support and you spend your hard-earned dollars in, like, what does that look like for you? So some tips for achieving more clarity in your messaging. Like, yes, stay away from the bad ones that we just covered. And then thinking about when we really want to identify the core message. So whatever you do in your business, what is your core message? Like we can use that example of Kellogg. Like if their core messaging is around being there for families, they went off kilter on this one, right? And that's why they were accused of being tone deaf and then boycotted. So really think through like what is the core messaging of your brand? And even as you create different products, different segments of products, and I know sometimes it's hard because in this digital online space, people are constantly telling you that you must niche down. And that might be so, but it really depends on your industry. And that might be the opposite of what you need to do because of your talent, strengths, and skill set. So that's why being clear about what your core message is and being true to who you are is going to be more important and override all the advice we get from gurus and all the people saying must do it this way. Why we're talking about the art of messaging and how to stay true to yourself is because we want to hear from you. What makes your product, your brand special and unique is you. When you start sounding like everybody else, everyone's checking out and no one's listening, right? Like we need to stay authentic and true to who you are. That's going to be most important. So you want to identify your core messaging. Like I'm just going to share some different things from my various businesses. So one of the things, just to be very clear, is like I provide speaking, coaching, marketing, and writing services to help you grow your business with clarity and confidence. And I am very blessed to have an 89% client retention rate. So that's just like very clear part of who I am, right? Another thing that we use in our core messaging is that I help business owner moms transform their lives from the inside out so that they can enjoy more profits, more freedom, and more personal fulfillment. Clear, very clear. Now, like that's kind of like my overarching what I do across all my different brands, you would say. That's like my core stuff of who I help. But to give you another example is my CEO Powercode course. So another example of core messages is that in my CEO Powercode course, I teach overworked, overwhelmed business owners how to become CEOs who work less and earn more. And then as like a tagline, I say that this is what we call prime time, right? Like how can you work those prime time hours so that you are maximizing your profits and living a life that you actually love? So essentially, I teach CEOs how to go from overtime to prime time. So that is something that a lot of people resonate with. So it's really, really clear. Now, if I could share you the years and years of writing this out and diving deeper. Like it started as something like that was like a page, a page paragraph long. And that's the thing, like this stuff with messaging, you're not going to figure it out in a day. So don't put the pressure on yourself. Just start getting clearer. Just start diving more into your core, your personal core of what is important to you. That's how you get there. The more you keep your message focused and specific, the more people will be like, oh, I need her. Oh, I need him. Like, oh, sign me up. I need that. Like, that's what we're looking for. The other thing I will tell you is avoid industry jargon and overly complex language. I have I will get on my soapbox about this for a moment because the industry jargon is the most annoying thing. For years and years, when I was teaching salon professionals, I would work with them on let's simplify. Like, let's focus on what hair would be attached to your head, not what's on the floor. That's not going to impact you in any way. Get clear on if I said to you, oh, I want to be blonde. Well, what does blonde look like for you? And it's the same thing like when we're talking about coaching. I literally am able to help save my clients 10 hours or more every single week by using my systems and strategies and applying them to their life and business. Super clear. That's what I do in my coaching business. I help you save 10 hours or more every single week. I say that crystal clear because it takes out the industry jargon. It doesn't matter if you call me a coach, a life coach, a business coach, a consultant, a this, that. Oh, you can call me any title you want. You can use any industry jargon, but it's very clear. It's just, I help you save 10 hours or more every single week so that you can take your life back. You essentially become the CEO of your life, period. Right? That when we overcomplicate and get into all this jargon, like I remember this one time I was working with a mortgage broker and they're using all their industry jargon. And I am a customer. I'm the first time. I don't know any of your industry jargon. So you lose me. And what happens when you do this in your messaging is that you make your clients feel small, insignificant, and even stupid. And nobody wants to feel like that. So using clear language like chocolate, if that's the color you want your hair to be, like, okay, do you like dark chocolate, light chocolate, right? Like, do you not care about saving time? And do you want to keep working harder instead of smarter? I'm not the coach for you. So getting really clear on your messaging is going to help you so much no matter what you do. You don't have to sound like you're some type of professional in your industry and puff your chest about it. This one, it's so clear across so many industries with all the jargon. And to help you through this, we have a guide that is it's a guide and a video training that I want to offer you absolutely as a gift, absolutely for free. And it is how to discover your business voice. There's a video and a guidebook, but it walks you through answering all these questions in case you haven't done that yet for yourself. So I will include that in the show notes of where you need to go to make sure you get your free guidebook and video on discovering your business voice, which just dives even deeper into the messaging piece. And I encourage you, look for real life examples of where, oh, that's so crystal clear. Like maybe you're on a call with a group of people and it's like a networking event. Who stands out to you? What did they say? What, maybe you're going to a big convention and who do you remember? Like what, when someone speaks to you in a clear way, that messaging stands out. So it's, it's not like I would ever stand up and say our mission statement, but it's something that's at the forefront of everything we do. So I'm just going to read it to you now. And then you can look through all of our stuff even and see that at the core of everything we create, this is tried and true. So our mission statement is that I help female business owners set up the success systems that they need to overcome challenges with communication, leadership, marketing, and technology so that they can 10x their business. So everything that we do on the podcast, everything we do in our masterclasses, in our coaching programs, everything we do when I am out in the world speaking on stage, all comes back to this. So that is crystal clear when I have team members helping distribute our content. This all goes back to it being crystal clear. So even if I switch gears and, really start focusing in on a different leg and arm in our business, it still goes back to our core values, our mission statement, and everything that we're crystal clear about, right? So the next thing we need to dive into is the role of authenticity. So authenticity in your messaging is more important than ever. You must maintain your unique voice. So many people are starting to just regurgitate what everyone else is saying. And that is a world that nobody wants to be a part of, right? Like we just are going to tune out and check out, right? To get people to tune in and get turned on, you need to be your authentic self. You need to show up as you are. Like I am fiery. I will tell it like it is. I will cut through the BS and give it to you straight. I will always speak with kindness. Sometimes my tongue is razor sharp because it needs to be said in that moment. And people either love me or hate me for it. And I am fine with it either way because I am authentically me. My heart is clear. My intention is pure of heart. And I do everything I do for the greater good of all involved. So I am clear with my intention before I even speak a word or show up, in something I've written for social. So you want to just dive into that part so that you can confidently be crystal clear about who you are and stand in your authenticity. Because when you are authentically yourself, you build trust with your audience, even when they don't agree with you. Like we just went through the list of the 3 big branding, messaging things that I had a lot of personal opinion on. You may totally disagree, but you still will respect that I had an opinion, as I will respect that you totally disagree and have your own opinion. It's all good. We do not have to get watered down and dilute our message to make other people feel comfortable. We have to strengthen our power of conviction and stand in your own truth and share from that place, because that's where your messaging gets really powerful, right? Like people do business with people they know, like, and trust. Even the big brands are struggling now. They need to come back and get back to having a personal connection with the people that are buying, even cars from them. So this is really important. So a couple of strategies for staying authentic. Number 1 is you want to be yourself. So things of being yourself, like think about the things that people always say that, oh, I love this about you. Or maybe you say, I always do that. Write those things down and build content from there. The more weirder, quirky, out of the box that it is, it's probably your gold mine, right? So use that, the stuff that makes you unique and that nobody else does but you. That's the stuff that you really want to shine. So then you want the consistency in tone and style across different platforms. Now, we will, we are everywhere on all social media platforms. We take the trend, like what's the most important thing that they're doing on this platform, and we will repurpose content all over, but it's still true to the voice of me that it was in. So you don't want to change your voice to match the platform. You want your voice to be true and clear across all different platforms, and just sort of reformat the content so that it is the way that that platform likes it. So hopefully that's clear, right? Talking about being crystal clear. So you want to take, if you're somebody like what we do at Beyond Common, and for the podcast Beyond Common Business Secrets, we will repurpose our content everywhere. It is still the voice, and we consider, it's my voice saying it, but I consider myself to be the voice of the collective, the voice of the people. We're constantly infusing the spirit of business and the personal side of what gets business done, the stuff that no one's willing to talk about, the stuff that's uncomfortable, like this. Like, everyone else is going to teach you about marketing, messaging. That's just like, here's these 3 things and just do this. And it's what everybody else does. That's what's trending. No, be you first, be authentically you, and then be that you across every platform, and repurpose your content to fit the platform in your voice. Never lose sight of your voice. That is your number one most important asset, no matter what type of business you have. So another strategy for staying authentic is just that consistency. So consistency on all the platforms. And again, if you want to dive deeper into this, you'll want to grab the Discover Your Business Voice, the video and the guidebook, and it will dive deeper into even more of this. So I would say, like, this is the third most important thing out of everything that we've talked about today, is being conversational. One of the number one compliments, and this like warms my heart with such gratitude and appreciation every time I hear it. So if you feel this way too, please share. I can't hear it enough, to be honest. But when we're talking about being conversational, what I hear all the time is that when people read my books or listen to my podcast or listen to a video on YouTube, that it always feels like their friend is sitting down with them ready for a cup of tea. Like, it's like spilling the tea, it's truth talk, and it just feels like a friend sitting down with you. And that is exactly how I intend it to be. Every book I write, I want it to feel like we're having a conversation, that you are a part of this story and your viewpoint is welcome here. I am not here to tell you what to think. I am here to help you develop the strategy to think for yourself even more. That is what I'm here for. That is what's important, is that you think for yourself and continually flex that muscle and get stronger and stronger in your convictions for thinking for yourself. That is what I'm here for. And that is all about that conversational tone. So when you speak from a conversational tone, it enhances the engagement and relatability. Now, I have people that I run out into the world that saw me speak at something 10 years ago, and I didn't even know this. And they'll tell me 10 years later, this one thing that you said, it really stuck with me. That melts my heart. And it's because I speak in a conversational tone. Like, let's sit down and have tea. Like, what is happening? So a few techniques that you can use for making your messaging conversational is write as you speak. So I just write as if we're having a personal chat. And then my team will do corrections on my grammar to make it work for you. That's the authenticity. If you know me, you know that I'm great at storytelling. I'm great at helping you, but grammar is not my forte, right? And that's okay. So that is somebody else's forte. And that is who we hire to help us. So that is really important. And the other thing is like use stories. Like I am always using stories about myself because I have a lot of embarrassing moments. I always throw myself out there, make tons of crazy mistakes and learn from them and share them with you. Like so that you don't have to make the same mistakes. You can make your own mistakes. But anytime you can share things in a story format, it becomes very conversational and relatable. Now, we had a bunch of listeners share some some Q&A with us. So on the area of messaging. So I'm going to just answer a couple of those questions so that we can put this in even more real life context of what you're going through. So one of the questions was, how do I identify my brand's core message and values? So one of the best ways to do that is to go through our guide. Go through our guide to finding your business voice. Now, you might already have done a lot of this work, and you might want to go back through and see what really lands with your ideal customer and what doesn't. And that's how you continually refine it. So if you have not identified it at all, then absolutely start with our guide on finding your business voice, so that you can really be clear on what your core message and values are. And then the next question was, what steps can I take to ensure my messaging is clear and consistent across all platforms? I think we actually already answered that. So you want to do exactly what we said, right? Like take it, stay true to your voice, and then repurpose it on all the other platforms, still in your voice, but in the way that that platform performs best. And what I mean by that is like this is going to change. So we're just going to say what's happening right now, but this literally could change before we even air this podcast. But right now on Instagram, you can be posting reels or carousel posts, but carousel posts don't really do well on LinkedIn or TikTok, right? They don't do that. So that's what we mean. Take the same messaging, which is in your authentic voice, and repurpose it to what's trending on that platform. That's how you get it consistent across everything. So this is a really great question. So how can I stay true to my unique voice while appealing to a broad audience? So the more true that you are to who you are, you will get shared more and more. I know this was a hard one for me to really overcome too. I happen to have a lot of lurkers in my audience. So we have a huge email database, and all of our people that are on our email database are not really on social. And the ones that are not on every platform. So we have sprinkling of social, but our primary form of contact is our email marketing list, because that is where we have all of our clients together. So what I can say is that if you are worried about appealing to the masses, you actually will not. So one of the best things that I did to make it sound conversational, and then I've just kept doing this ever since, is when I was doing the audiobook for Beyond Common, the 12 Essentials for Success in Life in the Workplace, I put a photo up of one client, one of my thousands of clients, one client, and I spoke the entire audiobook just to her. So it feels conversational. And I do that every single time I record something, create something. I act as if I'm speaking to one person, and I know it's so counterintuitive, but if you sit down and have tea or whatever you like, coffee, with the one person, you will appeal to the masses, period. That is the magic. So, how do I tailor my messaging to resonate with the target audience, with my target audience? When you are crystal clear on your messaging, your core message, and who your ideal client is, you are going to hit the target audience every single time. So if you feel like you're unclear, do more work on clarifying what your core message is, how you want to communicate it, and who your target audience is. This is another question. What are some common mistakes to avoid when crafting my brand message? Do not sound like everyone else. Be confident, clear, stand behind your convictions. Use the power of your beautiful voice because only you get to be you. Only you can be you. Only you can be you. And that is the you that we love and we want to see more of. What tools and resources can help me improve and refine my brand messaging? Great question. I would start with our guide that I will put in the show notes, the Discover Your Business Voice video and guidebook. And if you want to dive even deeper, I would schedule a one-to-one, I would schedule a branding session with me. I would love to dive in to help you. And we can really dive into refining and improving your brand message. So, if you have even more questions, send them in. I love getting, like, we did a few polls on, I think it was in our Facebook group, I think by email, and maybe we might have even did it on Instagram as well in the stories. So that is how we got these. But please, if you have more branding, messaging questions, send them in. I love to answer these and help out with that. So, some ways that you can just really start implementing these strategies is just go step by step through our guide and apply the clarity, authenticity, and conversational tone into your messaging. That is it. And the biggest takeaways I would say, just to kind of recap everything for you, is number one, know your message, be clear about what you want to convey, right? Like, be really clear about that. Number two is stay authentic, be true to yourself, and let your unique voice shine. We want to hear that beautiful voice of yours. And then number three, be conversational, right as if you're having a personal chat. So sometimes I will do a podcast episode and then we'll take that and that becomes our written content because I already spoke it. It's done that way. So I encourage you to keep applying these tips and strategies. Use them to improve your own messaging and share with us what happens. Share your experiences and feedback with us. Let us know in the comments wherever you are listening to this podcast, or send us an email. You can message us on social. We love, love, love hearing your feedback. And if you would be so kind, before you jump off, my friend, if you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star review and share this podcast episode with a friend that you know will love it. We so appreciate you. As always, congratulations on being here. And I hope you're having the most beyond amazing day. Be sure to go grab your guide and video, and I will see you on the next one. Take care.